Here we are on Monday, just before our first job. I think there's a bit of a delay today. We were meant to be doing 2 or 3 things with this guy Tashan. He hasn't shown up yet. We're at a lady called Daisy's house. Daisy's something to do with the turtle people. We're not far from the coast. This is in Rekowa, just right on the south coast of Sri Lanka, and we're probably only a couple of 100 metres from the sea. Not that I can see it, but we've just pulled over. We're just across the road from Daisy's at this swamp. And I looked over and I can see what Peter described as lampai is actually rice fish, and so I've just dipped my net in. I've got a tank out of the van, and I've already pulled some rice fish out, and I pulled some little barbs out as well. And it's that prolific, this whole swamp. There must be millions, if not billions, of rice fish just in these few acres of swamp, and it looks like they're farming it as rice paddies over there. But I'm just going to see if I can do a live fish catch for you and see what I can do. But it's thick with grass, as you can see. It's probably 12 inches deep. You can see all the lampais, all the rice fish at the surface, because their eyes are glowing blue in the sunlight. And what's more interesting is that bigger stuff, like most of these fish are an inch or less, but occasionally bigger stuff are coming up to the surface to breathe air, and I reckon they're snakeheads. Peter said there was a lot of snakeheads and a lot of rice fish. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch a snakehead, but anyway, I'm just going to take a dive with this net, even into the really grassy stuff, and see what I can pull up. More rice fish, a Rhizia species. I'll find out which ones they are when I get back. Might be Melastigma. Hopefully there's some really cool anabantids as well. So after about 5 minutes of fishing in this little roadside ditch in Rekowa, I've got this little tank full of rice fish and these barbs that I showed you. I'll identify those barbs later on, hopefully. They're pretty nondescript. I mean, that's probably why they're not popular aquarium fish. They're nothing instantly recognisable that's in the trade, probably because they're colourless. But I thought I'd just do a quick measurement of the temperature, and also I brought along some dip strips as well. So I'm going to just give the water a quick test. Obviously that's going to tell us a lot about the habitat that the fish are in, and obviously if we want to replicate that back in the aquarium, then if we want to go proper biotope, then obviously we can match those water conditions, because obviously these fish are thriving. And it's turned up some interesting results actually. The temperature in Celsius is 34, which is nearly 90. Really, really warm tropical fish. I mean, this is something I've noticed in a lot of the hot countries that you go to. This kind of 24, 26 degrees C that we use as a medium for most tropical fish. In reality, in these kind of lower habitats is much higher than that. I mean, the Amazon, the water was much warmer, and this is 34 degrees C for tropical fish. That's pretty warm, and it probably gets, with this water being so shallow, it probably gets warmer in the daytime as well and cooler at night. And the other thing that was really interesting is I've put this dip strip in. No nitrite, no nitrate, you'd expect that. There's not an ammonia reading on it, but with this many plants you won't get nitrate anyway. But the hardness is off the scale. Looking at this habitat, you'd guess it at being quite soft. You got kind of, you know, you'd think it'd be kind of gourami habitat and, you know, that sort of thing, and it's pretty stained from the leaf material that's in there. But on the GH, the highest this kit goes up to is 21 degrees general hardness, and it's that or above, which on this JBL test strip has got a sad face and 5 exclamation marks saying very, very hard, watch out. The KH, the carbonate hardness, doesn't really correlate with that. It's only 6 degrees carbonate hardness, and the pH, well, according to this, the pH is as high as 9. Now, either I've got a dodgy test strip, or this habitat is really, really weird, because it's hard, but with low carbonate hardness. That's probably to do with the decaying matter and the plants. But the source of this water, or say the soil, or perhaps the ocean, is making this water really, really hard with a high pH and really alkaline. So pretty weird, and it just goes to show what testing can do. That's definitely raised my eyebrows. I'd have thought it'd be about pH 6.5, but I mean this strip's drying out in the sun now, but it's at least 8.4. I mean, if you look at that at the bottom there, according to my JBL kit, it's a pH of 9. So this leads me to wonder whether there is actually salt in this water as well that's giving it such high general hardness, but it's so heavily planted. Unless these are saline tolerant plants, I'd have thought it was pure fresh water, but pretty cool results nevertheless. It's another piece of habitat just 25 yards down the road, just across the road from the rice paddies and the lampai habitat that I just looked at. Water conditions are probably similar. It's literally yards from the other one, but it's on the other side of the road and it looks like someone's garden. But you can see this shady pond, and there's stuff jumping, some quite big stuff jumping. Again, it's possible snakeheads chasing the lampais, but I suppose it could be one of these giant half-beaks as well, these needlefish, Zenithodon cancella. I looked them up on the plane when we were flying over, and they're kind of native to lots of countries, including Sri Lanka. So it's possibly them that are chasing fish at the surface, but there's quite a few ripples. But something else that I noticed, apart from all this grass and swampy stuff, is aquatic plants. One for the plant growers, there's quite a few. They're grown as marginals, so they're in soil and about 6 inches of water, but they're popping their heads out to get all the light and CO2. I don't know what it is. The Wigia perhaps, Bacopa? Who knows? Might save that one and try and find out later on. But there's quite a few patches of it, and that's something that I'm also going to be looking out for, what plants are here, because Sri Lanka's the home to cryptocorines, and if I can find some wild crypts, I'll be a happy man. This is a couple of hours on from the rice paddy with the Orysia species. We've come to this amazing lake behind me, several acres across, loads of huge lotus, like a water lily type plant in flower, loads of water birds and loads of fish. Now the people, there's some what look like gill net type things, so people do fish this and catch the fish and eat them. So I can't see many big fish, but there's probably, having said that, there's probably some monsters in here. But again, I spotted these kind of iridescent eyed fish, thought at first glance that they were these Orysius lampais again, but they're actually a rivulus or a panchax. They're definitely a killie, not an annual killie. And I think looking at them, the reason why I'm catching the rice fish and these fish is that they're at the surface, really stuck to the surface all the time, and then you can literally just go up to them and just pounce with the net and you're scooping them off. But I did a bit of kind of covert sneaky fishing with the net just now, and I've come along this part of the bank where we haven't disturbed, and I saw this shoal of fry and I've netted them really quickly, and I cannot work out what they are. They almost look cichlid like, so obviously, you know, there's virtually no cichlids in Sri Lanka apart from Metropolis. I don't think they're those, so that if they are cichlid fry, they're probably introduced tilapia fry, but I'm thinking they're perhaps a little bit too small. So the other options are quite a deep bodied perciform fish, perhaps, I don't know, like a climbing perch, something like that, but they're so small I just can't identify them. But anyway, I've got another two species, so I've got a rivulus and I've got either climbing perch, gouramis, or introduced tilapia. Apparently there's introduced tilapia all over Sri Lanka. There's probably more tilapia in Sri Lanka than there is endemic fish, so wouldn't surprise me if they did turn out to be those. But I've done another water test. Temperature even warmer than last time, but then it's later on in the day. This lake is 94 Fahrenheit, which is 34 Celsius. Again, really, really warm, but the fish absolutely fine with it. There's quite a few aquatic plants in this lake as well. I'm still looking for crypts. I don't think I found one yet, but I found the four-leaf clover. There's obviously loads of lily species. There are some that look kind of almost like immerse aponegitans, but I can't really tell what they are because all these plants are immerse. Like I'm all right on aquatic plants, but when you get immerse forms, they look completely different to the submerged forms, so it's hard to identify them. But did a water test. Hardness is down on this one. According to this, it's 7 degrees general hardness. Carbonate hardness is quite high. I wonder if that's from the oxygen from the aquatic plants that are raising it. And pH is actually quite low, 6.8 to 7.2. So a different water body again, different parameters, even warmer, but a bit softer and a bit more what you'd expect for this sort of region.
How's it going, geeks? Who's winning?
The fish off. Well, I was right that they are rice fish, aka lampies, but Peter's already caught more species than what I did. He's a bit braver.
I thought that there'd be, I must say I did think there'd be, I am quite surprised that I was wrong.
There we go. On videotape, Peter Richardson is officially wrong. There's quite a good spot over there, that little clearing in the grass. So what have we got so far? We've got rice fish, we've got Puntius vittata, we've got the spike-tailed paradise fish,